of our halo. Listen to the tales as we all rationalize our way into the arms of the Savior, feigning all the trials and the tribulations. None of us have actually been there, not like you. Ignorant siblings at the congregation gather around spewing sympathy. Spare me, none of them can even hold a candle up to you. Blinded by choice, these hypocrites won't see. But enough about the collective Judas, who could deny you were the one who illuminated your little piece of the divine. And this little light of mine, a gift you passed on to me, I'm gonna let it shine to guide you safely on your way. Your way. Go down without you to guide them all to Zion. What are they gonna do when the rivers overrun, other than tremble incessantly? High is the way, but all eyes are upon the ground. You were the light in the way they'll only read about. I only pray heaven knows when to lift you out. 10,000 days in the fire is long enough. You're going home. You're the only one who can hold your head up high. Shake your fists at the gate saying, I have come home now. Fetch me the Spirit, the Son, and the Father. Tell them their pillar of faith has ascended. It's time now, my time now. Give me my wings. Give me my 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 wings. You are the light and way that they will only read about. Sad as I am in my ways and my arrogance, burden of proof tossed upon non-believers. You were my witness, my eyes, my evidence. Judith Marie, unconditional one. Daylight dims, leaving cold fluorescence. Difficult to see you in this light. Please forgive this bold suggestion. Should you see your Maker's face tonight, look him in the eye, look him in the eye, and tell him, I never lived a lie, never took a life, but surely saved one. Hallelujah, it's time for you to
Hello, 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 hello. Is there anybody in there? Just nod if you can hear me. Is there anyone home? Come on, come on, come on now. I hear you feeling down. Well, I can ease your pain and get you on your feet again. Relax, 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 relax. I'll need some information first, just the basic facts. Can you show me where it hurts? There is no pain, you are receding. A distant ship, smoke on the horizon. You are only coming through in waves. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, I had a fever. My hands felt just like two balloons. Now I've got that feeling once again. I can't explain, you would not understand. This is not how I am. I have become comfortably numb. Okay. Just a little pinprick. There'll be no more, but you may feel a little sick. Can you stand up, stand up, stand up? I do believe it's working good. That'll keep you going through the show. Come on, it's time to go. There is no pain, you are receding. A distant ship, smoke on the horizon. You are only coming through in waves. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, I caught a fleeting glimpse out of the corner of my eye. I turned to look, but it was gone. I cannot put my finger on it now. The child has grown, the dream is gone. I have become comfortably numb. Okay. Just a little. Mommy, don't know Jenny's getting hot at the body.
I was sick and tired of everything when I called you last night from Glasgow. All I do is eat and sleep and sing, wishing every show was the last show. So imagine I was glad to hear you're coming. Suddenly I feel alright, and it's gonna be so different when I'm on the stage tonight. Tonight the Super Trooper lights are gonna find me shining like the sun, smiling, having fun, feeling like a number one. Tonight the Super Trooper beams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel blue like I always do. Somewhere in the crowd there's you.
Facing 20,000 of your friends, how can anyone be so lonely? Part of a success that never ends. Still I'm thinking about you only.
There are moments when I think I'm going crazy, but it's gonna be alright. Everything will be so different when I'm on the stage tonight. Tonight the Super Trooper lights are gonna find me shining like the sun, smiling, having fun, feeling like a number one. Tonight the Super Trooper beams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel blue like I always do. 'Cause somewhere in the crowd there's a you. So I'll be there when you arrive. The sight of you will prove to me I'm still alive.
And when you take me in your arms and hold me tight,
I know it's gonna mean so much tonight. Tonight the Super Trooper lights are gonna find me shining like the sun, smiling, having fun, feeling like a number one. Tonight the Super Trooper beams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel
talking song from tongues of lilting grace, whose sounds caress my ear. But not a word I heard could I relate. The story was quite clear.
Welcome, my friends, to XboxEra. If you're new here, let me fill you in. XboxEra is a platform for the Xbox community with best-in-class forums, a kick-ass Discord server, and of course, XboxEra.com, your destination for the best news, reviews, and features, all focused on your favourite platform, Xbox. It's every Xbox fan's gateway to the best of XboxEra. Our incredible podcasts listened to in over 50 countries worldwide, our in-depth reviews, our own merch store for the coolest in gaming threads, and of course Day One, where you can track, rate and discuss your favourite games on Xbox Game Pass. We're a small, agile and independent publication, and importantly, we're completely funded by you. If you value having a publication truly focused on your preferred place to play, you can become one of the cool kids by supporting us directly via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. You get cool swag and awesome perks, and we get to keep doing what we do. Become a part of the best Xbox community on the internet and help us grow even larger. Thank you for your support. XboxEra is only made possible by the support of an amazing community, and in particular our legendary and growing army of Patreon supporters. Our executive producers, Top, The Scarecrow 121, Peter B, Not Jack, Mohammed Sherez, Kevin S, Korkenstein, Jordan White, Jordan Andow, Frankie C, Terran H, and Britt. Our amazingly generous grand benefactors who take their support and dedication to XboxEra to another level. Krat56, an assassin. And then there's our boss, our leader, our shining light in times of darkness, the one and only XboxEra CEO, Torn Raptor. You guys are all fucking awesome. If you enjoy the content XboxEra produce and want more of it, and you're not a patron, consider heading over to patreon.com/XboxEra, pledge your support, and get cool swag in return. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of XboxEra Headlines. The date is January 14th. Happy birthday to my older brother, by the way. I'm Sicko Mechanico, and today Jesse and I will be taking you through all of the latest in gaming news from across the industry. As a bonus for our wonderful patrons, we make audio versions of these episodes available in the Patreon app. But if you're on Spotify, you can link your accounts and listen to it there instead. If you want to become a legend like that lot, head to patreon.com/XboxEra. Hello, Jesse.
Good morning. How you doing?
Yeah.
I'm still waking up a little.
Start of another week, another
Yeah.
deluge of video game news. It just doesn't stop.
No.
Lots of Xbox and Nintendo stuff today, frankly.
Mhm.
Tis the season.
It is.
I suppose.
It is funny. I see, like, especially sites and shows that tend to focus more on PlayStation are like, well, Sony's gonna have something soon. It's like, I don't know. Hopefully, they haven't had anything in a
Keep on
while.
hoping.
So I'm hopeful. You know, we should be in the news starts rolling time of the year. It'll be interesting to see who's got what. I mean, we know what Nintendo has. They've got new hardware that we're
New
supposed
games.
to hear. That might be what Thursday's show ends up being about, depending on the timing. Because that's the rumor about the Switch 2.
We'll get into it.
So, like, it's weird. It's been a weird start to the year because it just feels like it's immediately back to normal. There's no ramp up. It was just immediately right back into it. Like, even
There's loads of games.
yeah, even around the around the holiday there was already a bunch of games in for review, like way ahead of time. It was awesome, but it's because people are releasing things in January in a way they normally don't. So they needed to have it done because they knew otherwise, like Dynasty Warriors Origins, which I put the review out on yesterday. We can talk about that, I guess.
Yep.
Like, I put out the review on Dynasty Warriors Origins, and I'd had that game for almost a month, which is unheard of. Ursul's already got Kingdom Come, which they have said themselves is out, and people have previews and all that stuff on
Yeah.
Twitter's. But
It's interesting. I think they wanted us to do a preview, but when I look back at the emails, I don't see any asking for a preview. So
yeah, I don't know. I was curious because also was like, I don't think he's had the time because he's just kind of being able to get back in the content creation swing after, because he works at a company that does shipping, and then there was a bunch of striking in the UK or in Canada from their post service. So it's kind of makes it really hard when you've got to pick up the slack for the Royal Post or whatever it's called. Yeah, Tom Henderson keeps talking about there's Assassin's Creed Shadows previews coming at some point. There's lots of stuff going on. Just to talk about Dynasty Warriors a little tiny bit. I've never been a big fan of the series. I've always thought it's kind of weak overall, and reviews have shown that. In the recent ones, they're not like highly reviewed until this one.
Yeah.
Which I gave an 8.3 and is an 82 on OpenCritic, so I almost nailed it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You enjoyed it then?
I did. It's far and away the most fun to play that they have had. Like, its individual fights are really good in a way I don't think the series has ever had before, while still having the ridiculously big Muso, one guy against 1,000 mentality.
I had a lot of fun on PC. I was like, this is hilarious.
It's just so over the top. And it's incredibly, I think in our modern context, it could come off as homoerotic, but it's not. It's just about the bond between guys. And with cultural differences, with cultural differences and all that stuff, it always ends up calling, that's gay, like as a joke. But it's like, no, it's guys who love each other, and they're fighting on the battlefield, and they're these giant mythical figures of Chinese mythology and history, because like a lot of them are real people. Obviously, they couldn't, hit 700 people at once and kill them, but
or maybe they could.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it's a huge game. I imagine to see all the endings and get everything done, you're looking at 100 or 200 hours. I played 50. You can just beat the game in one thing in like 50 pretty easily, probably less if you really, because I went and did everything I could just to see it all. So you probably like 30 to 40 hours and see an ending, but then you can hop back in the timeline and do branching paths to see all the endings. And I think if you do specific things, there's a secret true ending. So there's a lot of value for it. Main issue is there's 9,000 games coming out. So it's
well, they got out
tough.
early enough before the W's that maybe they'll get a bump.
They've got a couple weeks before anything else really starts to hit, and even those are smaller things. They got a little while. It's the beginning of February is when things really start popping off.
Absolutely. Dynasty Warriors Origins available now if you want to go and pick it up.
Yeah, go read the review if you want.
Let's get started with the news. Big hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. As always, do hit that like button. We appreciate your appearance here, hanging out with us as we go through some of the top headlines in gaming in this hour-long broadcast. But your likes and your thumbs up and your engagement, the algorithm appreciates you, and so do we. Let's start off with our lead kind of discussion today, which is the increasing smoke that is the fire of the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake. Now, earlier, I think, or I want to say last week, or maybe at the beginning of this week, I can't remember. It's Tuesday, right? Yeah, yesterday. Let's go with yesterday. Website Multiplayer First, or MP First, let slip that a Virtuous employee has detailed a number of updated gameplay features present in this remake of sorts from Bethesda and Virtuos.
It
Again, this
sounds
is
more
all-
like a remake according to this leak, which is very surprising because
Yeah.
it's
What
just
about
supposed
Gamebryo?
yeah, it's supposed to be a graphical remake running on top of the old game, which I do think a lot of people would be shocked when they go back to. And if you see modern graphics on a game that plays like this, it's not going to be that impressive. So gameplay improvements would be most welcome, but
Yeah.
sounds like a nightmare because this thing was so simulation heavy that was always the problem. Like if you're changing Bethesda's games, it's essentially like trying to make a new one because it all has to still work in the simulation because they don't fake that much, if anything.
I'm intrigued. Yeah, I mean, according to this report, the game is being fully remade. I mean, that's some interesting word usage with Unreal Engine 5, and is reworking 6 gameplay systems: sneaking, blocking, stamina, hit reaction, archery, and the heads-up display. There's a few different bits on here. Apparently, the improvements to blocking have been reportedly inspired by Souls-like games. Sneaking icons are now highlighted in a new system. The stamina setup has been modified to be less frustrating for the player.
Yeah, wasn't that fun?
Making the knockdown that occurs when stamina is depleted more difficult to activate through changes in calculation methods. The heads-up display has been changed to make it easier to understand and more aesthetically appealing.
Yeah, it's very
to
ugly.
young players. Young players? Ain't nobody under like 35 buying this.
You'd be surprised. Like these UIs were always built for lower res, so they're really big.
I'm intrigued. I remember very fondly, even as I didn't really play it like a couple of hours past this point, but I do remember being impressed back in the launch days of the 360, stepping out of the sewers for the first time and seeing that valley. I was like, oh my lord.
But the real fans of the series were pissed because it dropped so much that made Morrowind interesting, but not fun at all to play. Morrowind, you can't go back to like you can Oblivion, and especially Skyrim. Like Bethesda has been on, or BGS has been on a less overall open, but actually more fun trajectory, I think. Because like you go back to Morrowind, and just the fact that you can swing and a dice roll means it missed still drives me insane. Can't do it.
It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. Even archery has apparently been improved to make it more playable and modern in third and first person viewpoints. I mean, this does increasingly sound like a full fat, no holds.
That's why it'd be weird to do it in Unreal.
Remake.
It's weird to do it in Unreal instead. Well, I guess because the areas in Oblivion aren't that big, and Unreal 5 can probably handle it way better than the old Unreals could. But like, if you were going to remake it, wouldn't you remake it in Creation Engine 2? But that means it has to be people who know and use Creation Engine 2. It's always Unreal just because that's what everyone knows. So I answered my own question.
But according to Nate the Hate, he spoke about this on one of his shows. He thinks Oblivion is currently slated for June of this year. We've obviously got Microsoft's Developer Direct next week, and a special live report broadcast of headlines will be covering it, featuring Special Nick. I think he wants to be around for some reason. Can't think why.
Yeah, you, him, and Ursel. I've built it up so there'll be 4 of us. Yep.
There we go.
I know you said he wasn't allowed, but I told him he was.
Nah, it's fine. I like Ursel.
Yeah, I built it up, so we'll have.
It's trying to supplant me.
I've built up more headlines things. I can show them now. So if there's 3 people, it's gonna look weird. So this would be 3 people, and this would be 4 people, and then this would be the co-stream setup. Yay! And it looks really weird because there's only 2 cameras on right now. But it's all built, it's all there, and so on that day we will be good to go with a co-stream to start, and then discussion of what we have seen afterwards.
Indeed. Speaking of the Developer Direct, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Jez Corden lied to me. He lied to my goddamn face. I put a tweet out last week saying it sure would be great if the surprise game can remain a surprise for the next 2 weeks. And we were talking about it on the podcast on Saturday, and we're like, it won't remain a surprise. I can tell you it's pretty much an open secret at the moment. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not going to give you any confirmation, but I will read you an excerpt from Jez Corden's article over on Windows Central, where he says, with regards to Xbox games coming this year, he talks about Doom the Dark Ages, South of Midnight, and Clear Obscure Expedition 33. And then he says, there's also a mysterious fourth game, and I won't spoil what it is, but our sources indicate that it is a new entry in a legendary Japanese IP, which has decades of history and should make a lot of fans happy. Not going to say what it is, but I'm
putting my guess up on the screen.
Fair. Okay.
I already feel like we're on a government watch list now.
Yeah, probably. I would just say to you, dear chat, you might want to go dark for a while. We won't spoil the surprise.
Nick might try, and I will mute him immediately every time. But I don't think Nick won't. He won't actually try. He doesn't want to. We've got things in the works that he doesn't want to spoil, unlike John. John likes spoiling when we have fun things in the works, but Nick never wants to, even though he does all the time.
That is literally the opposite way around.
You say Xbox blocked the release, but this is on the 360, baby.
Yeah. There you go. A Japanese game is apparently the surprise game. Maybe. Who knows? We'll find out next Thursday, so be sure to tune in. Next up, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga, got a bunch of nominations at the DICE Awards. Indy received 6, Hellblade with 5. This is from the real awards from actual game developers voting for games in amongst themselves. It's pretty cool. This is the nominees for the 28th Annual DICE Award from the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences. It's going to be hosted by Kind of Funny's Greg Miller and Stella Chung. That's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, they do it every year.
Glamour.
Yeah.
It won't have the glitz and glamour of the Game Awards, but
it is actually focused on the awards.
Yeah, it's actually about.
So if you say you care about the awards more than anything, then you should watch this and you should watch the BAFTAs, because those are and some other ones that actually focus on the awards. But yeah, Indy had 6, Hellblade had 5, COD Blops had 3, and Diablo 4 had 1, I believe, for Xbox owned IP.
Yeah, in terms of Game of the Year, I think you are looking at, where is it? Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Helldivers 2, and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Really weird to see
I feel like
Helldivers in
they're
there.
all mostly worthy games to be in there in one way or another.
It's always weird because Black Myth and Helldivers didn't review anywhere near as well as the other ones. So I'm always curious.
Like, why? Yeah, well, who knows? But there you go. That's good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Good for you, Microsoft. I know it's not a Keeley, but, you're in with a chance. You got nominated.
Yeah, they got a bunch of Keeleys as well, but everyone ignores that because they don't get the main
one. Not the only Keeley that counts, mate.
Mm.
They need the Keeley that counts.
The Countly.
Next up, in terms of stuff from, I think this is from Nate the Hate and Baby Jez, or maybe both. I'm not sure at this point. There's just rumors.
This one is Nate. It's the only one I kept.
Okay. This is with regards to Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII Remake and its follow-up Rebirth should be coming to Xbox and Nintendo's new hardware in 2025 and 2026 respectively, with the finale of this Final Fantasy VII Remake saga landing in a multi-platform way in 2027 on everything. That makes sense. I think that's probably true to a degree. I don't think anybody would get against this.
The moment Phil came out on stage during the Final Fantasy celebration thing, and they were like, "Oh, we love you, we love each other, hooray, everything's happy."
Let's
It was
have a
like
hug. We love you.
the way they were talking, it made it sound a lot more clear that it very much wasn't contractual anymore. It was, we don't have anyone to do this at the moment.
Yeah.
And as you've seen, finally, with what looks like the first good PC port in a while, we will see later in the month for Rebirth. I think it's later this month. Yeah, April is The Last of Us 2 remastered on PC.
Wow.
Later this month, this PC version looks way better than anything else that's come out, which I'm sure is going to piss off a lot of PS5 Pro buyers because it's got a lot of stuff that's only on PC. But like they're ramping up and figuring out how to do multi-platform more again, and that is it's not an easy thing, which is why whenever people say the whole slate for Xbox all the time is like, not when they're not set up for it at all, or it doesn't really just make sense financially, because ports aren't free if you want them to be good. Like they had a quote unquote free port for Remake, which was just the PlayStation version and like a wrapper on PC. It was really bad.
Yeah,
and then 16 was on fire, like not in good shape at all when it came out. But this one looks to finally be in good shape. At the very least, they're selling what they're selling looks better than what they have had recently, even if the characters are kind of creepy looking.
I'm just giggling at Taryn in the chat, who's mocking my ineffective observation skills. As I was playing Exit 8 last night for a Patreon exclusive stream, figuring my way out of a very repetitive subway station. And I missed in this hilarious clip these eyes literally moving side to side, and just completely was like, one of these doors have got different symbols on. Absolute pleb. I'm going to break things up now and just talk about this super chat from Mohammed Sherez to segue us nicely into the next section, because he says, just reveal the Switch 2 for fuck's sake. I think Nintendo, according to, everybody now, are going to do just that. According to a bunch of very reliable folks, the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal, and this is a hardware reveal as they understand it, is reportedly coming on Thursday, January 16th this week. This is via Andy Robinson over at Video Game Central. This obviously came directly from Nate the Hate, first of all, where he claimed that reveal trailer planned by Nintendo will focus on the Switch 2 hardware, with a software showcase coming later in February or early March. And according to VGC, they reported in the summer of 2023 that the console was already in the hands of key development. Switch 2 finally.
Yeah, the full rumors around it are reveal Thursday, then either late February or March, get some form of like games showcase, and then it doesn't come out until May or June, which would be in line with roughly the timing for what the Switch had. A little faster, because I think Switch was October, March for reveal and release. But if the rumors are true, like Genki said when they were at CES, and they're like, we saw a black market Switch 2, and that's where we made our 3D scan and print from.
Yikes.
That if it's out for many months on the black market and just leaks more and more and more, I do think it will spoil the launch a little bit. Most casuals won't care, but I also don't think casuals are going to flock to it, especially if the heavily rumored $400 or more price is true. And I do think all upcoming hardware is going to cost more than people think.
Yeah, I also think, and I've said this on previous shows, and it's not a knock against Nintendo. And look, when they've made experiments before, they haven't always panned out. The Wii U, like the Wii did. But I've already seen opinion pieces from other pundits saying, there's something like not exciting about the Switch 2, right? It's exciting for people that really love Nintendo games, and they'll obviously back this up with a whole host of really cool new Nintendo games, right? And that's good, it's great. But I just feel like we live in a world right now. Across all the hardware companies, not just in terms of all the hardware is more expensive, but people just aren't as keen on upgrading much anymore.
That was a problem they had with the Wii. Like they
Yeah.
got the audience that didn't care about upgrading that much. They're like, oh, I still just play Wii Bowling and Wii Sports all the time. I don't give a shit.
That's all I care about. Yeah, that's why I
And
bought it.
with the Switch, they had a huge library of good Wii U games to port, and they've kind of really dug very heavily into that bag, and that's been a lot of their content lately. Has just been remakes and remasters of various types. And one of the rumors that keeps going, and I'm sure they'll have stuff, it's just that having new stuff, especially a lot of it already at the same time, is very hard. So I'm very curious, what is their launch plan? If their launch titles are full of ports of older stuff, I don't think that's going to excite that many people. Now, it would be cool to have some things like on the go, but how exciting? I don't know.
Also, like, there is, we've heard rumors of Switch 2 launching last year, and no, maybe they delayed it purposefully, so that their software was ready.
Because like even something like Metroid Prime 4, it doesn't the Metroid Prime series isn't a big seller.
Yeah,
like it's an okay seller for them. It's okay, but compared to Mario Kart, like you get 80 million in one friggin' game, and I don't know that Metroid's broken 15 as an entire series of games. Like it's never been a big seller, even though it's really liked by critics and by the hardcore bubble. They need the things that are going to appeal to everyone. They just put out multiple new Mario parties. So would they have yet another one? Like Mario Kart's the obvious one. They're going to have a Mario Kart game. It's been the most obvious thing because they didn't do a new Mario Kart game this generation. Like they just re-released the good Wii U one and added a lot to it, and it's one of their best-selling games ever, if not the.
Yeah, you can't have new Nintendo hardware without a new flagship Mario game. Like, I'm not talking Mario Party or Mario Kart or anything like that. I'm talking a Super Mario game. So, guess we'll find out. Will it use whatever gimmick Nintendo have planned? We'll find that out.
The mouse pointer. That's what they say.
Yeah,
little mouse pointer.
Well, it's going to be interesting. But that is coming. That is coming. Apparently Thursday, 16th of January, just 2 days.
If the price is anything, if it's significantly more than the Switch was, I think it's going to be way slower adopted. The most obvious statement I know, but if it's like $430, $450 or something, I don't know. It's going to be rough because I also don't think the economy is getting a lot better in most places. Like it's just kind of okay. But yeah, like as JB1521 says, if they have a $500 Switch, I think it's pretty much guaranteed. If Nintendo sets that precedent after Sony has already moved to $700 with a console, if Nintendo moves to their first $500 one, because have they even done they've probably done close before?
They've been the cheapest of all.
They've always been the cheapest. I think that guarantees the next Xbox and PlayStation start at $700.
Woof.
Well, no, not for us. Because we can just, if we finally get in with Microsoft, they can just send us a bunch.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But we have to give them tens. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah. Of course. Microsoft, Phil's. I saw Gamer Tag Radio. I've got Phil on.
He's making so the 24th is definitely his stay home and do interviews day.
Yeah. Destin Ligari's got Phil on.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, John.
Why does everyone make out it's me? Me and Phil are fine. We're like this. We're buds.
Even though you almost gave him COVID and killed him.
But I didn't, and that's why we're...
That he's rich enough. He probably took all that Invermectin and he was super healthy. No worms.
He lectured me on my etiquette at parties, and that was it. And I say lecture. Lecture's the wrong word. He commented on my lack of party etiquette. Next up in Nintendo-centric news, they have absolutely trumped Sony for 20 years in a row in Japan, which is obviously Sony's home market. This is via Andy Robinson over at VGC, who is taking some details from Famitsu, where they published their final weekly software chart for 2024. Although they've yet to publish an annual chart, Game Data Library's archive confirms that at least 13 of the 15 best-selling console games last year were Nintendo Switch titles in Japan. Only one non-Nintendo title made the top 10 last year, which was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PS5, which charted at 10th. place. So the only other PS5 title in the top 15 is Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D Remake at number 14. This means Nintendo has now dominated the physical software charts in Japan every year since 2005. And in 2004, 8 out of the top 10 best-selling games were PlayStation 2 titles, but Nintendo has since taken the majority of Japan's top 10 sellers every year since.
I am curious. I saw this, but as always, it's physical because Nintendo doesn't tell anyone digital stuff. So I am curious what the split is in Japan on digital and physical, because they are real big on phone games. Like, so the phone market is a lot bigger in general than home console, from what the very little bit I know. So, but yeah, Nintendo's games never go down in price, and you can always resell them to get the next one and still get quite a bit back. So I understand why people stick with physical with them.
Yeah. But for those wanting new Nintendo hardware, whilst you'll have to wait and see if the rumors of the 16th reveal for the Nintendo Switch 2 are real, they have announced a different kind of hardware with their next partnership with Lego, being the Lego Game Boy. It's a block kit. I don't know if you've seen the NES one that they did, where you get the TV and it's got a scrolly thing and you can make Mario go up and down, and it's got the pad. So you've got a cartridge you can insert in the Lego NES. They're doing the same again, but with a Game Boy, which is fun. This is a whole set. It's been announced. It's coming out in October of this year. We haven't got many images of it yet.
It's just a little video that's got like blocks floating on Instagram, which I'm not logged in on, so I can't show it again.
Yeah, it's fine. I think we'll live. Yeah, there you go. There's some hardware for you.
The first new console announcement of the year. It's finally out.
It still bugs me that Halo worked with Mega Bloks and not Lego.
Well, it was Lego not wanting guns at the time, right?
Guns, I know. But they'll let Star Wars light guns, laser guns are okay. Any bullet guns.
There's no blood in Star Wars. Everything's instantly cauterized.
There is definitely a blood.
Not in the Lego Star Wars.
The stain of blood on Qui-Gon Jinn's Jedi skirt.
It doesn't make any sense, though.
And there was a mist of blood from Darth Maul being chopped in half.
Wow, whole 2.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe you just said there's no blood.
At the time, Halo was M-rated and was focused on having blood everywhere. You could slow the game down. There was so much blood in it.
I know. I used to love doing that as a kid. But there you go. What else we got next? Bomb. God, there was a lot. We're kind of flying through.
I know you don't like lingering on things. You just fly right through them.
Well, I've said all I've got to say. I don't want to pad it out.
Padding it out is half of doing the news.
Well, it's not my style. I'll tell you that much. A new Square Enix policy aims to protect employees from toxic fans. I can't blame. I'm surprised that this isn't more of a thing across more big organizations.
Lawyers are expensive, so that's the only reason I can ever think of.
This is via Jordan Midler over at VGC. Square says that should it find that an individual has engaged in harassment, we reserve our right to cease providing support services or to refrain from providing our group's products and services. The policy reads, there are instances where certain customers take actions directly or through our support centers or towards our group executives, employees, partners who are involved in the creation and distribution of our group's products and services that constitute customer harassment, such as the denial of personality, violence, defamation, intimidation, advance notice of wrongdoing. I think that is legalese for I'm going to come over there and kick your ass. Advance notice of obstruction of business or harassment. It continues that such actions do not only prevent our employees and partners from engaging in their work with a sense of security, but also causes disruptions to other customers. Square Enix will not tolerate harassment and will take action as necessary. It's got quite a lengthy list of what it considers harassment, ranging from acts of violence and violent behavior, trespassing, persistent inquiries or repeated visits, discriminatory speech and conduct regarding race, ethnicity, religion, family origin, occupation, sexual harassment, stalking, repeated stalking behavior, or unreasonable and undue demand, requests for an apology, a face-to-face meeting to apologize. It's ridiculous, right?
Legalese
Give
has
us
to
this
cover
thing.
everything. Like that is one of the main problems with like trying to tell people on the forums why they can't deny rumors. It's because eventually you just open yourself up if you don't deny all of them forever. Like, oh, well, you didn't deny this one, so obviously this one must be true. And it's like, for the lawyer side of things is always about loopholes and trying to set precedents correctly so that it doesn't work against you. It's like why they can never give consent on something using their IP. They just don't go after it until it gets to a point where they're like, okay, copyright wise, if we don't defend this now, it means anyone will be able to say, hey, they didn't stop it here. And then the court goes, yeah, they didn't. So you can't now. So having a policy like this, which is a good thing because of how shitty and toxic online discourse can be, and especially
Really is
customer relations. Yeah, I'm happy to see it. You always just have to be curious about how it's implemented.
Yeah. But it's good. I want to see more of that. I want to see more pushback from companies being like, hey, are you a gamer with a capital G? We don't like you. You know, because I don't know. Speaking of people beaten up by gamers all over the world, Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Shadows has been delayed again to March 20th, 2025. I'm not overly surprised to see this get another delay. I think they're looking at February, as well as more time to tidy this one up. But they're looking at February with some, and I'm glad in some ways because it gives other games that deserve some love in February a little bit more breathing.
Yeah, it definitely helps Avowed the most probably for the
yeah,
because it was right at the exact same time. It's a little after Civ. Like you've got Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Civilization 7, Avowed, Monster Hunter Wilds, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza, and a bevy of other things. That PGA Tour 2K25 just got announced for the end of the month. There is so much, and there's not nearly as much in March that I think it overall, it doesn't look great, but it was the right move. Because obviously they delayed, not knowing everything else was going to be freaking coming out then. Same thing that happened to Avowed. I do think Microsoft is more in the position of when can we set our first party and things we know for sure for Game Pass as their main factor on things outside of the biggest tentpoles of the year.
Yeah.
So it is interesting because nobody likes delays except for when it's something we really want to play and we know there's a bunch of other shit at the same time. So I don't mind this one at all, especially because I would still like to do it depending on how things are going. We'll see.
Yeah, that's fine.
One of my favorite series. I am not a fan of Ubisoft, the corporation, but I am a huge fan of their games. Like I quite like Ubisoft titles. I really enjoyed the last 3 or 4 I've reviewed, which were like Star Wars Outlaws, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, and Christ, what else? Far Cry 6, I think. I enjoyed all of them immensely.
I think this looks good. Like,
this looks amazing.
And I also like Ubisoft because they're quite generous with codes, so I'm quite keen to try this one out.
Yeah, not always at review time, but definitely afterwards when we're looking to do more coverage and talk about more things. They are one of the nicest PR companies to deal with. The people that work at Ubisoft's PR department are always really cool.
So lovely.
But also this looks amazing. It also has a ton of systems that don't get shown off in gameplay like this.
I just saw where she was spinning that weapon. I don't know what it's called. Sue me.
I don't even know.
But she whipped it across and like it caught physics-wise lots of like debris, and it was
physics is a huge part of this, including like even the wind picks up particulate and stuff in the environment and moves around, as you can see. With all this wind right now, like this game looks way different from their other AC games. This looks way different. This is the most modern one that also seems like Unity's animation system, because they had moved away from that for a bit to be more snappy on the actual gameplay side of things, because Unity looked amazing, but then it was a little too loving with animations from time to time. This one looks so fast that it's still good.
See, I really love that. She grabbed the character from behind it, dragged them backwards into the shadows. Oh, that was wicked.
And I do like the jumping between stealthy ninja and a giant sword man for just beating the shit out of people. Like, I like that mix.
Yeah, you can choose who to play as.
I think the entire game, you can play as whenever you want, outside of maybe specific story missions.
Interesting.
So, because I know Nick's like, I'm only ever going to be her. It's like, well, I think sometimes you do have to play Yasuke, but
yeah,
we'll see. I'm hyped for it. It's coming out closer now to one of the other ones that I was going to do. So we will see who ends up doing it on it. I'll be nice. We'll give things up here and there, but my favorite things that I'm really looking forward to, that's when I push up.
Well, I appreciate you moving on South at Midnight, man. I'm really looking forward to reviewing that one for the team.
Have you ever even played one of their games? Don't think so.
I have. I've played Compulsion's previous game.
Oh, the mime one, lady. Dancing lady one.
The shadowy
Contrast.
One.
Couldn't think of the name for
Contrast,
a second.
yeah.
Unlike you, I actually like them, so I was able to think of the name.
Get out of here. But yes, there you go. It's been delayed. There's lots of scuttlebutt of Ubisoft apparently prepping themselves for maximizing shareholder value. Why? To sell in some degree, but they want to maintain control too. So definitely a studio to watch. Their future is going to be quite interesting. If Assassin's Creed Shadows does not meet whatever sales expectations they may have for this one, I don't think it's going to spell very good things for Ubisoft's desires to remain in control from the Guillermo family. I think that will change probably. Watch this space. Speaking of
sad
selling and layoffs and all the other horrible bullshit that happens at a regular interval, we've already seen like 3 studios get shut down this year, including Toadman Interactive. There's been layoffs at Piranha Games,
who are doing who made the footage I've got here, which is MechWarrior 5 Clans, the makers of that, and also the other one, and I can't. God damn, now I feel bad. I can't remember the name. The creators of Godfall, which is a better game than people think.
Yes, it's rubbish. Piranha lost 38 employees. Toadman has closed its offices in Stockholm, Visby, Oslo, and has had redundancies at its Berlin studio. The industry continues to really, really, really struggle to justify its existence. People just don't buy games much anymore.
It's really there's the good thing for platform holders is too many games, as Phil said to us, and the bad thing for developers and publishers is too many games. There are too many solid, okay, and great games for all of them to sell the way they need to, and it's really, really hard to make enough money just selling a single player game. Like, you have to sell a ton at the start, because you're not going to make money off of it over time. Not the same way you can on online ones. They don't have monetization built into them, and that's what we like. But when they still cost the same as the live service games do to make at the beginning, if you don't earn it back, it just kills everything. I do feel bad for Counterplay. Like, Godfall got held really hard in console warring. They just made a game, and then it was
PlayStation
PS5 only, and it came to PS4, and then it came to Xbox on both consoles. Or I think it might only been Series. I don't actually remember on that one. But Godfall is a really fun game. Like, it's very fun to play. It's a fun melee looter, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's just friggin'... It's so hard for the single player things everyone says they want, and then they don't buy them because there's too many. You can't buy them all.
It's why you'll see so many remakes as well, like, because the nostalgia of us, like the average age of the gamer is like between 35 and 45, as I understand it, and the nostalgia for us, they've remade that game from 20 years ago, my youth, I'm going to go out and buy that and wax lyrical about how great this remake is. And don't get me wrong, when studios nail remaking an older game and bring it into the modern era with all the right things done, Great examples of that being the Resident Evil 4 remake. In fact, most of the Resident Evil remakes, Dead Space recently. It's really lovely, and fans go, "Yeah, great, more of this." But the problem with this is it's leading to this kind of like creative void, where we're just all rebuying the same shit every couple of years.
Mm.
And if you're a new IP, like for all of the shit Starfield gets, it's a new IP that had what was it on launch day? 13 million players or something? I don't know.
It was.
I don't think that was launch day. That was like to
Yeah.
date.
I
That's
think it's like
great.
13, 14 million, but even then, it's like we don't know what the mods are making. But that's the only way you can make money anymore, because unless you're going out and you're buying it and it's probably on sale, there's not a bunch of $70 purchases of games well after
Yeah.
the fact for 99% of what's released.
And and this is where that conversation comes about Game Pass, destroying the industry. And it's because for subscribers that want to do Game Pass, well, they, I mean, I'm granted we're in a different position. I haven't had to buy a game for a very long time, right? However,
You
for
bought
those
Exit
that
8?
aren't, I did buy Exit 8. It was
$4.
£4.
Yeah.
But like, for those that aren't in that position, it's really hard. If you're a subscriber to Game Pass, you just get this stuff. Do you really want to go out, or can you just make do with what's?
Oh,
in the
and they say
subscription?
that people who have Game Pass spend more than those who don't. But what does
They
that
do.
even
I think
mean
the
in the long run?
Xbox-
Exactly. Like, we don't.
Yeah, the
And-
Xbox ecosystem, I feel like most Xbox gamers buy more games than the market leader.
They always. That's always been the thing. Is Xbox was smaller, but people spent more per person.
Yeah.
And that's what Nintendo has as well. Like, people have a better attach rate. But as Lucius says, people are often waiting on sales because games don't launch the best. And Godfall was Godfall Ultimate Edition, which was way better than the
completely agree.
PlayStation 5 version at launch.
And why do games not launch correctly? Because company shareholders are forcing people to release when they're not ready, regardless of the fact that games are a creative endeavor, right? And you should give everybody as much time as they can. And it's all just such a cacophony of shit.
Yeah, and that's what that was like Phil's big thing, is he really wanted games to just launch in a better state. So they delayed Starfield, delayed Redfall, still had a ton of problems with Redfall. Because that one was in such rough shape because of the way the previous ownership around ZeniMax had been.
They pivoted it from a live service online game to not.
Yeah, and but like when you look, Avowed's now gotten more time. The only thing they've had recently that I think really struggled, and is because of an underappreciation of how popular it was going to be as much as anything, was Flight Sim 2024.
Yeah.
When that game works, it is amazing. It just, the servers were constantly broken around launch, and now it's in a much better state, but I still don't even know if the friggin' marketplace is open. That's the thing I've been waiting for, to go back and finally take a look at it so I can see the actual game people will be playing years from now. Because as is, it's this weird, almost beta version that doesn't have most of the game's content, so the review feels kind of pointless. Like, I'd be like, it's a 9 when it works, but it doesn't most of the time, so it's a 4. Like, I don't know how to say that.
Times.
Would you just average it out and give it a 6 because it's when it works, it's amazing?
People do,
but it's, I don't know.
It's an odd one, and I think the industry is going to be grappling with this for ages. And I hope I want to hear from industry leadership on this. For Destin and the Gamer Tag Radio crew, Paris and Christ, I've forgotten his name.
Danny Pena and one other
Danny
guy.
Pena. Thank you. Sorry, Danny.
You say sorry to the third guy who you don't even know exists.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, it's terrible of me. But yeah, I hope that there's some good questions asked there, maybe on that front. Like, I know Phil can't always give good answers to some stuff, but
Rihanna Manuel Pena, Peter Toledo.
Oh,
I got 4.
Oh, okay, that's Danny's missus.
His missus, and then Peter is the third guy I was trying to think of.
Fair. I always just saw the faces of it as Paris and Danny.
Yeah, the old ones, especially, it was always the 3 of them. But I fully admit, I don't know that I've ever listened to it. I have heard of it, and I know I met Paris in person. I think Danny was there, but I never talked to him at the Dragon Age event. But yeah. I don't listen to many podcasts, so.
Well, honestly, when you're covering the industry, it's really hard to find the time. If I have the choice between listening and playing, I'm playing most of the time. What do we got? I can see some conversational stuff in the chat, asking if we'd already talked about Oblivion. We had it at the beginning of the show. We might return to it and just revisit a couple of the topics to round things off at the end. But we'll see. We'll see how we do. We'll talk about the next rumor on the docket, which is with regards to Bungie. This is an exclusive from the Game Post, which says exclusive details on Bungie's MOBA Smash Bros. Hybrid Gummy Bears
Yeah, it's been talked
under
about a
a
lot before.
new PlayStation studio. So this is a Bungie project that's now been moved to development at a new PlayStation studio. They've been working, apparently, Bungie, on a new IP codenamed Gummy Bears, which is a team-based competitive MOBA game, and has now officially transitioned from Bungie to this new PlayStation studio with around 40 Bungie developers spearheading its continued development.
I think it's got like the percentage-based health, and the
Yes, I
higher
read
it
this.
is. Yeah, I don't know. It's a
It
little
says
thing.
here-
It's been talked about a lot before. It's just interesting that as Bungie is absorbed more and more into PlayStation, like even their projects now just go to another PlayStation studio.
Yeah. What we know about Bungie's Gummy Bears, this is from the Game Post. Gummy Bears is a MOBA at its core with a playful twist. It incorporates elements inspired by Nintendo's hit platform fighting game Super Smash Bros. This is according to multiple sources familiar with the project who wish to remain anonymous as they cannot publicly discuss the company's plans.
As they're breaking NDAs.
Yeah, players won't have traditional health bars. Instead, the game uses a percentage-based damage system where characters are knocked back further depending upon how much damage they've taken or inflicted. Players can even be knocked off the map entirely. Yeah, it does sound very Smash Brothers. There are multiple game modes. And this is all rumor, bear in mind, catering to
Gummy Bears
various
has been
player
talked about a
preferences.
lot, this one.
Yeah.
I think the main thing they're missing, and that most things would miss, is Smash Brothers is a solid game, heavily carried by its IP.
Yeah, I love Smash Bros.
Yeah, like it's
I know
a
you're not the
fun
biggest
setup
fan,
to
but-
see all these characters beat the shit out of each other in a weird way.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
what
it's great.
like that was the old commercial, was just Mario and Yoshi and everyone beating the shit out of each other, which is like, what the fuck? And then you get a decently made fighting game around it that looks nice, and there you go. But if it's like this new IP, new IPs don't sell the way, like everyone points, wow, look at what they were able to do with Baldur's Gate 3. He's like, yeah, it's one of the biggest IP out there in Western civilization with Dungeons and Dragons. Like, it's really, really hard to get a new IP to take off. Like,
Good luck.
you know, Balatro has the familiarity of just being cards.
Yeah. I think, card games are great. Console Wars card game. It's great. It can't be worse than Multiverses. I've just seen Dexter H in the chat. Can't be worse than Multiverses, because Multiverses was absolute dog shit. Right?
I never played it. Never played a second of it.
I honestly, we were hankering for some Smash Bros. Like action, and Nintendo had updated the Switch firmware, and it made all the GameCube pads I have register twice, which makes for a really chaotic and bad Smash Brothers match. So we were like, okay, let's find something else to satisfy our Smash Bros. Woes, and we went down
Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl 2. Oh no!
It took us like 10 minutes to figure out the lobby system to actually get guest pads like registered and having their own individual player selection, which was already a nightmare. I remember when it was simple, right? Do you remember the quadrant thing on the 360? I was like, yep, okay, I'm a guest. Boop, I'm this player too.
And then when 3 of them were red and the bottom right was not on.
Yeah, that was less good for Microsoft. That was $1 billion problem. But yeah, it was just bad.
It's funny, it was just as bad on the
play.
PS2 with the blue, or was it yellow light of death? Never heard about it though, because Sony didn't give a
yellow.
shit.
Yeah, YLOD on the PS3, I think.
Yeah, PS2 had as many returns, if not way more, but people didn't,
And the Black John in the YouTube member in the chat, appreciate you. Multiverse was the best Smash clone. It was in terms of using IP, but it just feels
even
like
there,
absolute crap.
They kept hitting
play.
IP people didn't care about. They kept using IP people did not care about. Like, they had so many leaks of things people wanted, and then they didn't come.
All right. I'm just reading this in the chat, and I wasn't aware of this rumor. Creed and Eve says, rumor about state of play from PlayStation on the 30th. Think that is true?
No idea.
I've not heard that rumor.
I don't know.
Anybody, give me a source for this rumor. Who said it, and where did they say it? Is it from Twitter? Is it from a rando account on Twitter? Like, help me out.
I never know, because it
Uh,
also is always one of those things that Xbox has a show, Nintendo has rumors on a show, and so then people say, well, Sony must have something.
Sony's got to do something.
Like, they might. I know Grub yesterday was saying that they, I don't know, they were both expecting they might, but I don't know. I haven't heard any direct rumors about that.
Yeah, I've not seen a sausage on that one, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Nate seems to know everything, and he hasn't said anything. But it's been a while. Sony kind of needs to have some shows at some point soon. Like, we don't know what the heck they have early in the year, if anything.
This is last year was Sony's Microsoft's 2022. You know, like they had a very dry time apart from Astrobot, and
well, they had Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Helldivers early, which really, but they're also, their thing is the de facto third-party platform. So they're not as, despite what people think, they're not as reliant on it as people think they are. It helps. It's for the public perception, but as a company, they are incredibly heavily reliant on the top 20 games that are alive as a service that they don't own most of.
Helldivers 2 and Final Fantasy and Astrobot, that's not that dry of a year, really. That's pretty good.
No, they did not have a dry year. They just...
Like, I'd consider 4 releases. But, I mean, people like to differentiate, right? Like, we're talking bought exclusivity versus first party.
Yeah, because they had Stellar Blade as well. Like, they had plenty of games. There was a bajillion games to play on the platform. And I think that's always been the case on every platform. There's always a ton to play. People just look at a very specific subset of who published what, where, as the main thing, when most people do not give a shit who published the game. Just, is it there? Can I play it? That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
PlayStation had more games than anyone last year because they get all the third party.
I just think from a first party perspective, you know, Sony have kind of ended up, and this is just an opinion, don't shoot me, Sony fans, but everything they are releasing now from a first party perspective feels kind of iterative of what they've made before. So we had a God of War sequel that was cross-generation, built on the same engine, improvements for PS5, great, but they were able to get it out the door quicker because of that. Same for Spider-Man 2, same for Miles Morales, same for Ghosts of Yotai, I think. I don't think that's going to be a brand new engine. That's going to be an iterative. We're going to build upon what we built before.
It's also weird because they've been doing a lot
games all do that.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of iteration and reuse, but their costs still skyrocketed way too much.
And it's like...
That's their main thing they're working on.
The first new IP we've seen from them now is Intergalactic Prophet of whatever that is. I mean, I love sci-fi and Heretic Prophet, thank you. And it looked cool in some regards. It also was like full of the kind of product placement that makes me want to curl up into a ball and die. But also they're going for this kind of Akira future.
They're going for that 80s, very heavily incorporated universe vibe.
But I mean, that's 3 years away. I don't know, man. Like, I'm just like,
their first party is not in a great spot, and I think their fans, like, when you go through, and now that the console wars are dead, a lot of people who have PS5 are like, we were sold a bill of goods that didn't really come through because they were sold very unique experiences you can only get on this platform, and then most of the games just came everywhere. Like, there's only 20 actual PS5 exclusives that aren't anywhere else. Everything's on PC. True. And you can run it on PCs with way worse specs, and it works just fine. Like, it's like NVIDIA's keynote and AMD's slides. Like, don't ever trust the marketing of a company to actually sell you what their product's going to be. They are selling you what they want you to think their product is, but you need independent people who actually look at things and tell you the truth of what is the situation with this product. That is how you end up knowing what a product is. Because right now, PlayStation 5 is just a decently affordable low to mid-tier PC. PS5 Pro,
Take
decently
it back, man.
affordable mid-tier
Take
PC.
it back.
Same with Series
would
X
you-
and Series S. Like they are
Why
all.
would you say these mean things about PlayStation? That's
Oh, just
not
they're
fair.
all just PCs that are a certain tier of hardware based on their price because they don't want to pull 800 watts from the wall like your friggin' PC is going to if you get a 5090 and have a 9800X 3D overclocked and running as hot as you can with liquid cooling. Like PCs can always just run way better because they can just cost way more to run. Consoles have a ceiling. What do they want? Like Microsoft underclocked the Series X and the Series S on purpose because they didn't want it to run too hot and have issues like they've had in the past. And PlayStation went with friggin' liquid metal, which is still crazy to me and is really going to hurt the longevity of PS5s in the long term. But no one ever really loses their shit over it, even though there are a lot of broken PlayStation 5s out there. I mean, the people didn't even talk about the fact that you can buy parts to repair series consoles. Like,
That's super cool
Yeah.
that Microsoft allow
it's
that now.
weird that just completely flew under the radar for most tech-focused things, but
Also, my precious, still working right bumper,
you can get every single part for it now.
right? This got knocked off
Was it a
by my
cat?
kid.
No.
No, it might have been the cat. Actually, it could have been the cat. Could have
A
been the
very
kid.
large cat or a very small kid?
One of the small creatures in my house, and I went to pick it up, and I just was like, oh, okay, it seems okay, and I put it down, and I went to pick it up, and the D-pad was like not pressable, and I looked, and the whole casing had kind of burst open.
Oh, yeah. That's where it opens,
I was
right
like,
below it. Just press down.
Together, and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So that's you get a little spudger or a little tiny flathead, and that's where you like boop, and you can pop the clips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there you go. Last piece of news. To
One of
round
my
things
favorite
out
pieces of
today.
news. I put this at the end because it's good. Unlike all
It
these,
does look
it was
great.
very bad news at the end, so I moved the bad news higher.
Yeah, this is Rebellion's Atomfall, which is coming on March 27th this year, so very, very soon. It is looking really good. This is a Game Pass release. You can pre-order it now. It's coming out on everything. It's coming out on PlayStation and Epic and Steam. But on Game Pass, you get it as part of your subscription service.
New and old consoles, I believe, because it's still like
It's
their
the old
engine, I think, so their engine's built for everything.
Yeah, so it's coming out on Xbox One as well. And it looks really cool. It's kind of like this survival meets British Fallout-esque vibe, but it's not really.
It's
anything
not an
like
RPG.
Fallout. No,
But it has survival mechanics, but it's not a punch trees game. It's just more a crafting thing. Where it's not like you're building huts or anything. You're just like crafting the shit you need to use to survive and kill. Big focus on melee. Ammo is limited supply. It is extremely British.
Yep, giant Wicker Man things everywhere. Great.
Yeah.
The bees! The bees!
So it's the, was it wind scale? Fire?
Yes, it's the Windscale, the true story of the Windscale nuclear disaster in the UK. So it's set now
Not
in
true.
this kind of town that's
Alt
fictionally
history
set up
version
to cover
of
it up.
Windscale.
Yeah,
Windscale was a
actually
real
happened.
thing. This is an alt history version.
We
if
didn't
that had
actually
been
do that
supernatural.
here in the UK.
Yeah, you
I
don't
just
have
wanna be clear.
you don't have glowing blue zombies
No, we don't.
or
we don't.
giant robots.
Only in Parliament. But it looks good. It looks really, really good. And again, I feel like this is look at the approach being taken by Rebellion here. Hey guys, we've got a new IP. It looks cool. How do we sell it? Well, why don't we release on everything, but we'll do a Game Pass deal. We get the extra marketing from arguably the smallest platform, because that's what Xbox is. But we get all the marketing and people playing it in subscription and talking about it there. And if it's good, and we believe it is, they'll create buzz, but it's available everywhere. So we'll be able to pick up PC players. It's available on last gen, and they're looking to make back as much money as they can from their release. It is a sensible way to stay alive in this industry. They've done exactly the same thing with the new Sniper Elite, right? Which is coming to Game Pass as well. And that's in February or January? January?
No, that's the end of this month. Yeah, it's
End of this
30th.
month.
So Eternal Strands, same thing, brand new IP from Mike Laidlaw's Yellow Brick Games. He was ex-BioWare. First game, get a Game Pass deal, gives you hopefully some runway. Like I know that definitely helped with the Artful Escape with Beethoven and Dinosaur. That's the main thing you see is when people return to Game Pass over and over again. That means they didn't lose money on it because they don't have to do every game. Like you're signing a per game deal. You're not signing a you owe us your life and your blood and all your newborns type of friggin' deal. It's just per game, and they're coming back, which lets you know, yes, it worked. They feel it helped them. For any 80% of premium sales lost on the platform, it helped them overall. Probably because Microsoft gave them a lot of money. And if people played the game a lot, they probably got even more money. Don't know, but that's most likely the way it works.
It's great. I like it. It's good for them on a great looking new IP set in
was
the UK.
Shockingly pretty when I played it on a very powerful PC at Gamescom.
Yeah, I mean, their engine looks like their engine. Like, okay, that's a Rebellion game. But,
slightly stylized, real people, which I think holds up better over time.
Yeah, it looks like an interesting title. So hopefully Game Pass fans enjoy it. That is pretty much all the news, boys and girls. We're hit past the top of the hour now, so we'll wrap things up here. If you joined us halfway through the show, be sure to tune in at the beginning where we talked about the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake, the rumored Japanese game.
Look at
for
chat.
the Xbox
Lowly
Dev
Mountain
Direct.
Snow Riders is coming day one to Game Pass, according to Rockstar
You
Randy in
fucking
chat.
called it.
Yeah.
You fucking called it. They are breaking news from Rockstar Randy. Is that on Xbox Wire? Where are we hearing that?
It looks like it just had a release date trailer go live. No, that's 4 months ago. Where is it? Only
your man here,
21st of January. Hey,
I'm doing the review.
Oh my fucking
21st
God.
of Jan.
How many goddamn fucking first day one games are there this year? Jesus Christ. Or this month. There's also another one we know. Like, the fuck? This looks very good, by the way. This is very pretty.
Lonely Mountains Downhill, which is the first game. It was on Game Pass for 5 years.
Yeah.
It is one of my favorite games.
Here's the trailer.
It was my game of the year in 2021. I will be doing the review for this one.
Did I just
have
get the
played
email?
the demo. I have played the demo on Steam, and I really liked it. And this one has co-op or versus, I suppose. But it looks really cool. So I will start. Can we start pestering the developers for this one to get some?
Wasn't it you?
review code?
I thought you did. Or was it me?
No, you did. You did.
Okay,
You did on my behalf.
Let me see.
But
I gotta
yeah,
change the text here.
I will bring you my review of this as soon as I can, as soon as I'm allowed.
Lonely Mountains.
I'm looking forward to this. Looks great.
Snow Riders, day one Game Pass. Guys, a lot to type. It's only Xbox and Steam.
Hooray! I will have it.
Xbox wins.
I'll have it on Xbox, but will it give me an Xbox PC version?
I have no idea.
Must do if it's Game Pass.
Let me reply now. Hey, Grace. Just saw the release date trailer, and hooray, it's on Game Pass. We definitely want
We
to
probably should have ended the
cover
show
this
before we did all
one.
this. But we love you guys, so we're just hanging out. But I have to go because my kids are coming back, and this is
Your
all
kids
just
are
a bit
annoying
juggling
jerks.
now.
Tell them I said that.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I am somewhat attached to them. So
Ooh. I don't know what that feels like. But
my
hey,
blood.
thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you, Jesse. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for hanging out with us while we dig in through all of the news of the week. We'll be back on Thursday for another episode of Headlines. Until then, keep your eye on XboxEra.com as we continue our personal game of the year coverage. Mine came out today, so you can go check out my top 15 games of 2024. I believe tomorrow will be Ursul's video, followed by Nick and his top 10 on
He's actually
Thursday
done.
with,
Shockingly.
I know, with a staff top 10 as voted by the team.
I actually have to
runs
go do that
Xbox
after
Era.
I finish up all the headline stuff. I got to put that together.
Yeah, coming on Friday. So keep an eye on that. And we'll see you again on Thursday for more news. Until then, if you want to hang out with us more and chat with the community, head to our forums, forum.xboxera.com, or our Discord, discord.gg/XboxEra. If you want to get into the Cool Kids Club, head to patreon.com/.
That's a big one.
Xboxera. That's the one we really want you in.
Yeah.
You are a cool kid. And you
We
know
lost
it.
an executive producer. Best of luck on the move and everything. Frank, we love you. All your support was amazing. But yeah, so if you want to join the executive producer crowd, you can get into the intro of every show.
It's true. because you guys make it all possible. We'll see you on Thursday. Play some video games and have a nice time. Be good to each other. Ciao for now.
Bye-bye.
We listen to the tales and romanticize how we'd follow the path of the hero, boast about the day when the river's overrun, how we rise to the height of our halo. Listen to the tales as we all rationalize our way into the arms of the Savior, feigning all the trials and the tribulations. None of us have actually been there, not like you. Ignorant siblings at the congregation gather around spewing sympathy. Spare me, none of them can even hold a candle up to you. Blinded by choice, these hypocrites won't see. But enough about the collective Judas, who could deny you were the one who illuminated your little piece of the divine. And this little light of mine, a gift you passed on to me, I'm gonna let it shine to guide you safely on your way, your way. Go down without you to guide them all to Zion. What are they gonna do when the rivers overrun, other than tremble incessantly? High is the way, but all eyes are upon the ground. You were the light and the way they'll only read about. I only pray heaven knows when to lift you out. 10,000 days in the fire is long enough.